3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new show. This is going to be Real Estate with Valdy. And the premise of this show is going to be real estate. So my very first guest, Nick Byrne. I appreciate having you on.
Thanks, buddy.
But what I'd like to do is, pick some different agents' brains and speak on the real estate market here in Toledo and surrounding areas, which we're most familiar with. But I'm sure some other areas will pop up. But this is a interesting topic that I have plenty to speak on. So,
Sure.
So starting out, how has everything been on your end as far as so it's January right now. Have things picked up for you, slowed down? How are you seeing the market from your perspective?
As far as like seasonally?
Yeah, as far as seasonally, and you know what? And this is a different time than normal altogether, I feel. But I have not been in real estate as long as you. So you've seen more trends than I have. So how do you feel in this time frame, year by year, playing it back? Do you feel that it's busier this year? Do you feel that it's slower this year? What have you seen on your end?
So as far as like seasons go, I feel like we're slow.
Yeah.
Like than we were in the summer.
100%.
But compared to 2020's winter, 2019's winter,
Yeah.
2018's winter,
Yeah.
like these winters have gotten incrementally busier.
Yeah.
Just because of the lack of inventory, I believe.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So yeah, it is slower.
Yeah.
But just comparatively.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean?
Slower to the summer, right?
Correct.
But I feel like it. So I expected it to slow down like big time. Like I expected a big drop off, and it while it has slowed down, I feel that it's minimal compared to what I expected. I think it's still like there's still a lot of activity going on. I feel like there's still a lot of people looking for a house that were kind of in a situation where they couldn't find the house they were looking for over the summer. There was a lot of competition. Some people wanted to wait actually. And so now's this slower time. And so people waited until now. And so there's still activity going on, as opposed to like a dead stop of what I guess like in my head I expected, you know?
Sure. And I mean, honestly, like any agent that would tell you that there's a dead stop.
Yeah.
Like pick an arbitrary day, call it November 1st or Thanksgiving or whatever. Like it's just because they're not working. Like, there's always people buying homes.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding them.
Oof. Okay. I like that. I like that. So
and just some seasons it's a little bit more difficult to find those people.
Yeah.
But I think what you were saying about people waiting. Some people only had FHA loans that they could get during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And with the crazy amount of offers that we were getting on houses, 15, 20 offers, FHA offers were getting put to the bottom of the pile just because of the requirements of the loan, right?
Yes.
So a lot of the FHA buyers are out now that a bunch of the conventional buyers are out of the market because they've already bought their home or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It was very tough for FHA and VA loans. Just because there was 20 plus offers on some houses and the people were putting those to the side. And I feel like they're coming out now. And I actually have a couple deals going on right now with VA and FHA, which is super nice. So it's changed a little bit.
Houses too.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Something that I want to talk about on the show, like right away, like I want to jump into this one. And this is a conversation that I've had with multiple people, and I always get mixed reactions, but most of my companions in the real estate business feel one way, while the answer that I get differently is from people who are waiting to buy a house because of this housing bubble, this market that's going to crash, and they're waiting because, why buy a house now? Have you seen how much houses have gone up? I'm definitely going to wait until, there's a crash, and then I'm going to buy them at those prices. And I don't have any kind of information in any way that indicates there's any kind of crash coming. I have no data for it. And before I get into what my opinion is on it, I'll state it, but we can say some facts later. I don't think that anything like that is coming. What's your perspective on this? Because this is something that I've heard multiple times from multiple people that they'd rather wait until this crash comes. What do you think?
Well, and I'm hearing the same thing. I'm hearing it from agents. I'm hearing it from buyers.
Oh, you're
I'm
hearing it from agents as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's fear-based or what, but what I do know and what I've seen, based on what I see, I believe that it's truly a supply and demand issue. I mean, when the housing market did crash, and we are fresh off of a housing market crash too, so I think with all the inflation going on, I think that a lot of people are thinking like, well, they have to come down, right? And I don't know if that's true.
Before you continue, you sound way better when you get closer to that microphone.
When I get closer to the mic.
Oh my goodness, like it's a new you. It's a new you. So I'm just gonna just keep that in mind. You sound way better. I want everybody to be able to hear what I feel like this is important.
For sure. So so we're fresh off a housing market crash, which is actually part of why demand is so high today. I mean, you can do a search in our local market from 2007 or 8 to 2014, and the number of homes built is like under 200. Like, it is absolutely insane how little housing was created during that time. Okay, so but every year that went by during those years where no homes were being built, there were still people coming of age, creating families that needed to buy homes. So all of these home buyers were still created that normally would be created in that time, but there just wasn't new housing for people to upgrade into to vacate entry-level housing for these people, right? So that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not just that simple, right? There's so many moving parts to the housing market, and are we in a bubble? But I do truly believe that it is a supply and demand issue. It's not artificially inflated because of bad home loans or unqualified borrowers having 2 and 3 houses or whatever, like we saw in that movie, right, where they're giving strippers 3 houses or whatever. So that stuff's not happening today because lending restrictions have been so tightened up. So
that's a separate thing. The lending restrictions is going to be separate than the inventory. So you've already touched on 2 of the things that I like that are not messed up to create that bubble.
Correct. And then and those are the 2 main driving factors in my mind, right? And I think a lot of people do see a contraction coming in the stock market, and I think people also equate all markets together, right? If the stock market crashes, then so does the housing market, and I think it's definitely going to be impacted because people always kind of tighten up. You know, they lose 20% of their retirement fund in their 401k or whatever, like you know, but.
Yeah, it kind of affects their decision making in other areas as well, which will have some effect. But it's not like if stocks go down X amount, the housing market is going to. Those are 2 different markets. They're 2 different markets. And while there's some correlation, it's not a direct 1-to-1.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing, too, that I just want to bring up, because one part of the lending will have an effect on housing prices and demand. Because interest rates are supposed to go up 3 to 5 times or something this year.
That's what I heard. I heard three times. Like I think they said minimal they want to raise it 3 times. Don't quote me exactly, but that's what I've heard.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the event that let's say interest rates go up a half a point. I mean, that's somewhere between $50 and $100 a month or something, depending on your loan size, right?
Yep.
So the bottom portion of the home buyers that are in the market might get knocked out. Some of them are definitely going to get knocked out of being able to afford a house per the lending guidelines, right?
Yeah, it changes everything. Yeah.
Right. And so it basically knocks everybody down a peg or whatever, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Right? So that does definitely reduce demand, which is going to affect home prices, but I think it's going to be a plateau. I don't think it's going to be a dip. Okay. And if it is a dip, I think it's going to be a slight dip. And even if it is a slight dip, I think that when the market recovers, it's going to go higher anyways. So especially with what inflation is doing right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like.
So all in all, your perspective is that there's no big crash coming. Like there's no dive in housing prices. Like nothing that's going to go down to especially anywhere near 2008. If people have that expectation that it's going to be like 2008 again. And
I really don't see it. I really don't.
I don't either.
It's certainly possible, but I mean my perspective is barring any unforeseen craziness in the world, right?
Well, yeah, everything is with an asterisk that anything can happen
right.
to create like worldwide turmoil. Like things can change drastically.
Right.
So,
right.
but without that in the scene, with what we currently can see on the table, I just don't see the indication of it. And so I'll all the points that you touched on, low inventory is the big one. I think another thing on top of that was the shutdown in 2020 with COVID just gave people the opportunity to kind of think about what they're doing, save up their money, and kind of speed up the process of them preparing themselves to buy a home, which has put more people on the market while the inventory was already low.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see us catching up from that. So even when the interest rates go up now, right, they're going to go up this year. It's been stated, I don't know how many times or how much, but the fact that it'll go up it seems like a very high probability that they've stated at this point. And you're right, it's going to knock some buyers off, right? Because it's going to reduce the amount that they're approved for. There's still so low of inventory and so many people out there that I don't see it creating a situation where it's going to switch what kind of market, which we're in a seller's market right now. And I don't see that changing because of that at all. So as a matter of fact, like you said, there could be a plateau, right? And then rise right back up after that. Like I don't see the downhill, but if you look back from like the 1900s to like now, 2008, 2009 is the only time in history that houses crashed the way they did.
Right.
They've leveled out, they've dropped slightly because of interest rates, and then they go back up.
Right.
But to the extent of what they did, that's the only time since the 1900s that we've seen that happen, and I don't see a repetition of it. So the reason I state all that is I just don't think it's a good idea for the people who are waiting to buy a house.
I really
don't. Because interest rates are going to go up, right? So there's less buying power there. Even if the houses plateau or even were to go down slightly because of negotiations, I don't think starting prices will change, but I think we may be able to negotiate price down a little bit, maybe depending on the house and how much competition there is, but it's not going to go down. And then regardless of whether it plateaus or goes down slightly, I think it's going to go right back up again.
Sure.
And so I feel like they're missing out. They're missing out on the opportunity to, I see every home purchase as an investment, as well as, you're living in your home. You want your comfort. I understand, but it's an investment. You want to be in a situation where your house is worth more than what you paid for it. Right?
We all do.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I feel like they're missing out on an opportunity to see that increase because they think there's this drop coming, and I don't see any benefits from it. Like, no. I just don't think it's I think if that's the only thing holding you back, right? Because there's other issues that could come up that are stopping you.
Yeah.
But if you're like, yeah, I'm completely ready, I could do this 100%, but I'm gonna wait because there's a crash coming, and I don't think it's the right time to do that yet. I think that is, and I can only express so much why I think that's a bad idea. I try to relay to that, but there's some people who are stuck and have their feet like dug in that it's going to be a crash.
Well, and you can look at it from another perspective too. I mean, like, let's just compare it to the stock market, even though we've already established it's not the stock market.
Yeah.
Okay. If you asked a financial advisor, hey, what should I do with this $50,000 I want to invest in the market? They're not going to tell you to time the market and try to hit it at an all-time low. They're not going to, because nobody knows.
Yep.
Right? So this has been proven mathematically, the dollar cost averaging, right? Like, instead of taking your $50,000 and dumping it all into something day one, you take $2,000 a month or whatever, whatever that number is, and you invest it over time. That way you catch some of that stock as low as it goes, but you're still getting your money in the market. Because if your
Yep.
money isn't in the market, you have no ability to make money.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal point. That's an excellent point to think of, especially like the way to invest in stocks is that you're right. You can't time that. You don't know. Nobody knows
No.
the lowest low it's going to get, the highest high it's going to get. Nobody has any idea. It's about investing over time, and when you're ready, like you have to have the funds to be able to invest into that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So and that's why I say the people who are like they're all the way prepared. They're like, yo, I got my money saved up, my credit's good, but now's not the time. And I'm like, now's absolutely the time. Like especially like right now, interest rates are so low that it's ridiculous. It's the best time to go out and invest your money
That we've ever seen historically.
like historically. Yes.
Right.
So like the fact that you want to wait for something to happen that would make everything supposing that everything got worse, but in that case, more than likely, interest rates would also be higher. So, like, you're losing out double. Like, I don't.
We know for sure that interest rates are going up. That's one thing we know.
We know.
Like, the Fed has announced that.
Yes.
Right? And we know that interest rates have recently been at historical low levels.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chance that they come back down.
Mm-hmm.
But, right now is probably the lowest they're ever going to be, most likely.
Most likely. Just looking back historically, how low they've gone before and where they hang around, this is exactly.
And we also know mathematically that you are way better off buying a more inflated asset at a lesser interest rate than a cheaper asset at a higher interest rate.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, the numbers will show that you're winning.
Right.
You're saving money, even though, let's say, you paid X amount over for the house with the interest rates being lower. You're still, over the long run, paying less than what you would have to get the house cheaper, but at a higher interest rate.
Correct, because the interest is going to outweigh the difference that you paid.
100%.
Yeah.
But you got to look at all the numbers for that, and I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people look at what's the price of the house.
What's the price of the house? What's my monthly payment?
Okay.
And that's it.
That's it.
Right.
And then there's no calculations done to see what the numbers actually amount to over time.
Correct.
And then that's a little hard one. It's not hard to explain, but not a lot of people are interested in that side of it to look at it from that perspective.
Interested, pun intended.
That was a good one.
Clean
Didn't
jokes,
realize it.
clean jokes are good.
Love it,
Yeah.
love it. That was perfect. Yeah, I don't understand how to explain it in a way. Everyone's gonna go down their own path. I try to give the best information available, and I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast is just to be able to have these conversations and
Sure.
Speak about those things because
I can link a video.
Yes.
To explain this in numerical format so that it could make sense to people
Love it.
too.
We'll link it in the description so that people
sure.
can take a look at that. Yeah, because that's crucial information.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Everything shameless plug. Anything real estate shameless plug in here.
For sure.
We're good. How have things been on your side as far as competition? Like when you've gone out to see houses, are you still in like the 20 multiple offer scenarios? Are you still like seeing a lot of that?
It's lessened for sure.
Yeah.
But if you anybody that's not in our market, our like median price range is like 180-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're anywhere between like 150 and 260
mm-hmm.
and you have a nice move-in ready home, like those houses are still getting somewhere between 9 and 12 offers depending on location, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's move-in ready and clean and has even like a small HGTV vibe, right? Like it's
it's like
right. Those houses are still getting slammed, but my clients are finding homes that I put an offer in for the client last weekend in Oregon. And it was a 189, and there was only like 3 offers. But the house wasn't super clean and crisp and move-in ready. It needed some carpet and some paint and blah, blah, blah. But it was in a good neighborhood. But there was only 2 other offers.
Okay.
So
But isn't that like it's so weird? There was only two other.
there was only no other offers.
It was only a multiple offer situation with 2 to 3.
Dude, don't get me started on the good old days.
Like I don't even know the good old days. The time that I jumped in was pandemonium and chaos.
Right.
And so this is also normal. Like right now, it's like, oh, wow, there's only 2-3 offers. This is a good time. Like,
right.
you know? So
if you want to know what the good old days look like, ask your parents how it was when they bought a house.
Yeah. Also, ask what the interest rate was.
Yeah, right.
Things were very different back then.
Very different.
So do you see a lot of out of town investors?
I do. I talk to a lot of people that want to invest in our market.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not really my bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's not really the kind of people I like working with.
No.
So no, it's just not my thing, man.
No.
I'm
on the opposite end of that.
Why?
Yeah,
do you like
I know.
it? Why do you like that side of it so much?
Why? Because I have a general interest in it just to see kind of like what's going on. I like to see like sometimes they get really good deals, and it's the way that they approach the situation, and I think I like phenomenal. I get to be a part of that and help them find some of those deals, and it's like awesome. I like working with local investors. I think like big time, right? I work with some out of state investors as well. But the thrill's just not the same, especially like I'm uncomfortable if you can't come to the house and see them. Like some of them want to do like video calls, things like that, like to see the property. And I don't think you can get the good information, I'll say, like being there, seeing what the neighborhood is like, seeing what the house is like. Like you can't do that unless you're there in person.
It definitely weirds me out when people are like, "Hey, I want to make an offer on this property I've never seen before."
Yeah, I'm like, I don't trust it. Like, are you sure? 100, like, you know what I mean? Like, but working with investors in town is so much fun, and all they're doing is like, well, depending on who you're working with, like I feel like they can take some houses that have like they have nothing going on and like really fix these things up and make an improvement to the neighborhood. And I think that's awesome. Now, mind you, investors are way more work. Like you're looking at a lot of properties, you're running a lot of numbers. So like I get why like a lot of people don't like working with investors.
That's what you're hitting my button right there.
I know, and I get it. And maybe I'll reach the point where I'm like, I don't, no, I'm over this. But I get a general like I have fun out of it. So I like working with first time home buyers are my favorite. First time home buyers, by far my favorite because they want to know information. I like giving information. Like, this is all the information available, and I want to help you make a good decision. Like, that's literally it. Here's all the facts on the table, and ask as many questions as you want. There's a general interest there, and I feel that people who take things as like, I don't know much, teach me, end up getting more information and making better decisions, as opposed to people like, I bought a house one time. I don't need your help.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you go to tell them stuff and they're like, what? What? Like, you have to do this? Like, what's earnest money?
Right.
It's like, hey, look, I'm sorry. Like,
right.
Let's explain all this over again. And first time home buyers are a little bit more accepting of that. They generally just want to know, and like they have no information.
They're
so they're
teachable.
like, it's a clean slate. And they're like, just tell me what I have to do. Okay, this is all the steps. And then I can break down each step. And then there's more of a general interest, and going in, I feel like it's just better decision making.
For sure.
So that's my thing.
So so what you just said though, like, the investor takes a little bit more work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But you get some knowledge from that.
Yes.
So you value that, right?
Yes.
The first time home buyer, which is the person, if I got to pick between a first time home buyer and an investor, I'm first time home buyer all day long.
Me too.
And the reason is because I'll tell you who my favorite buyer is first, and then I'll tell you my reason.
Okay.
My favorite buyer is buying their second home and has to sell their other home.
Okay.
Right? Because then they get my full service.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
I obviously make a little bit more money, which is great.
Yeah.
But those are my favorite.
Yep.
Because typically those deals typically go a little smoother as well, because most of the people involved in the transaction have assets, and they typically have a little bit more money. They're in a later state in their life. They have a little bit more money that if an issue comes up, like there's an electrical box issue, and it's a $3,300 repair, first-time home buyers typically don't have an extra $3,300 to make that repair,
Yeah.
so that can be a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas somebody upgrading from their first home to their second home, and then that person moving out of that home from their second home to their third home,
Mhm.
hypothetically, they can typically absorb that cost, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
Right. So those are my favorite buyers. But you brought up a point about them, about how they kind of know what they're doing already, and that stuff can get a little messy. But the reason that I like first-time home buyers is because it's the most rewarding. They're
100%.
the most grateful, and it allows me to do my job in a meaningful way, right? They're excited to buy their new house. It's new, it's fun, it's exciting. I can share with them all the things I know.
Yep.
I've done so many transactions. I have so much knowledge of, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here,
No.
but I have a lot of knowledge that I've gained doing that. So it's nice to be able to help them navigate it effectively, because they want the information that I have to give them.
Yep.
Right. And you don't get that from the second time home buyer. We've
You
already
don't.
bought a house. We've done this before. Same old song and dance. And
Yep.
but a lot of people don't realize that just because you bought a house 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 3 years ago, the market changes so dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the contracts change. There's so much stuff that changes in between now and then that, like, I would recommend anybody buying a house at all to look a little bit deeper and maybe try to understand what has changed since they've bought a house.
Yeah.
I mean, I have clients that bought a house 3 years ago, maybe 3.5. Multiple offers weren't a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a thing, but they were just starting to become a thing.
They
Like,
were rare.
they were
No.
rare.
3 years ago, that wasn't.
They were rare.
They were rare. Yeah.
And like, they're calling me like, hey, we're kind of ready to sell our house because we got all this equity. But it's like, I don't know if I want to do this market thing.
Yeah.
With all these
Yeah.
offers.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, in such short a time.
Things change.
Right.
Yeah. Big time.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, the teachable ones are nice. And like you said, rewarding wise, like I feel so rewarded when there's a first time home buyer, and I got to be a part of that. Like, I got to be a part of that process. Like, I got to share the information that I've accumulated and
serve them.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good feeling. So those are my favorite, but I do like investors as well. I understand a little bit more work, but I get a rewarding feeling from it as well. What about out of town? People from out of town, and not as investors, but just moving in from out of town. Have you seen a lot of that lately?
I have not seen a lot of that lately, but
No?
I do a decent amount of business, but not,
Yeah.
that's not a good representation of what's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't, but I think I've worked with like 2 or 3 people in the past year and a half or something.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot.
Okay.
But
From out of town, from out of state.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a lady from California buy a condo here.
Okay.
And then actually a younger lady buy a house for her family here. She was relocating to be closer to her family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I've seen I've had some people from Vegas, from
Vegas, huh?
yeah, from Vegas.
Why from Vegas?
They wanted to get out of Vegas.
Did you ask them why?
Yeah,
specifically?
because they had an influx of people from California. Yeah. I know. I just said it out loud. I just realized that. I don't know.
That's hilarious, though.
Yeah,
It's
I
funny,
know.
though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's real, right?
It's real.
So
it's
funny,
super
yeah.
real. But I've had people from California too, like here. So it's like, I didn't even. So they had an influx of people from California and Vegas, and they were like, "It's just not the same. We want to get out of here." So they wanted to get out of Vegas. They looked at some places. They looked at our market here, and our market is, one of the cheaper markets in the United States. Like,
For sure, yeah.
like 100%. What were we number 1 for investing on Yahoo not too long ago? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't see the link?
I didn't.
Oh, I will send you the
That's
link. Yeah,
interesting.
it named Toledo, Ohio as the number 1 place in the United States for real estate investing.
I'm just kidding. I'm actually interested in working with investors.
I'm just. I love investors. Everything's great. Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They're so grateful.
Yeah. So I've seen a little bit of that, of people coming from outside of the state coming in. I haven't worked with anybody who is moving out though, like moving out of state. Oh yeah, I've worked with one that was moving out of state. So I see more of a growing thing here in Toledo than diminishing by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially now that you got all these people that can work remote,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Yeah.
like, why do I need to be in L.A.
Yeah.
when, houses here cost $5 million when I could move to Toledo, Ohio and live in a beautiful house for $400.
Yep.
Have some privacy, have some land.
Yep.
Work from home on my internet.
Yeah. They get more bang for their buck.
100%.
I looked at the houses out in California in the price range.
Yeah, I pulled $4 million out of my ass. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, but $1 million up. Like $1 million up is like they're like. I saw a house.
Where were you looking specifically?
I can't tell you specifically. I can't
hard
pull
question,
it up.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's because I don't want to put specific info on there on why I was doing that. But I was
Sure.
looking at the markets, and their price range was, so for a house that you could probably get for somewhere around $200,000 here, cost above $600,000 there.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm looking at the house, I'm looking at the yard, I'm looking at everything. It's like, it just, you get way more bang for your buck here. The weather is the only thing that, like, a lot of people are like, and I've talked to some other people from California that have called and like, hey, the market, this and that, and they're like, yeah, but it snows there. Like, after everything and all the numbers and everything that we talk about, they're like, great, oh my God, and this house is great. The area looks phenomenal.
Did you tell them about sledding?
There. Yeah, no, I did. I should have. I was like, but don't you know? There's so much that you could do with this.
Yeah, don't tell them about like skiing or snowboarding.
Yeah,
We don't have hills here.
Yeah. No.
Or mountains.
Yeah,
we have some hills.
We have little hills.
Yeah.
You could just sled down.
Yeah,
That's about it, though.
That's
That's
the Great Plains, people.
Yeah. This is but when you're looking at it from the point of, like you said, you can work remotely, and you can get this house here for X amount cheaper than house anywhere else. Like it's I think that's had a major impact on why people are coming this way. And starting to notice it a little bit more. On top of, I think there's a lot of things going on in Toledo that it's just a growing city. I absolutely love Toledo. I used to talk so much smack about Toledo when I was younger. Yeah, and then as like I actually learned about this, and the city's grown. I can't say it's just because my vision on it has changed. It's because there are things that have happened that have changed my vision as well, like with the mud hens, with the walleye, with the development going on,
especially downtown.
Downtown.
I mean, I used to not be when I was younger. My parents were like, "Do not go downtown."
There was
a reason.
There was nothing downtown.
Positive. Other than possibly getting mugged.
That was
right?
it. There was nothing positive downtown.
Yeah, and now it's there's so much rebuilding of our old historic buildings. People, there's a lot of people going down and renovating them and putting storefronts on the first floor and beautiful loft style apartments above them.
Yeah,
and there's and then the what did they do that they changed the liquor regulations so you can like walk between
Dora and Aura.
That's
Dora and Aura are phenomenal because you can walk around with your drinks outside and enjoy it when it's warm out. Not now. You can try it now, but it's just not
8
the
months.
same.
8 months out of the year.
Yeah, 8
9
months.
maybe.
That you can't enjoy it. I'm just kidding. But no, it's super nice. And then because there's so many more locations open, you can literally walk around and visit. And they have like different local shops downtown, which is awesome as well. So you can, like, there's things to do, especially with those little VOs. Have you rode any of those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Those are so much fun.
They're fantastic.
Way better than the bikes that they had before. Like,
way better.
Like 100% better. Not to knock on the bikes. I understand.
Bikes are great and exercise and all that stuff.
I get it. But those VOs, riding around on those things, like you can get anywhere super cheap, super fast, and enjoy the ride there. Like it's super, super, super fun.
Yeah, me and my girl went down there. We did that for a date one night. We literally went downtown, ate some food somewhere, and rented VOs and just
ride around.
There's all over the place. Yeah.
And like our downtown is not huge where it's like there's way too many people here. Like I am over this. Like I need to get out of it because I sometimes don't like being around large groups of people. It's not my style. I like low key kind of stuff.
For sure.
So downtown is not too small where it's like dead and there's like nothing. you know, and it's not too big where you're like, oh, this is overcrowded and ridiculous. It's a nice little mix where you can walk around, ride around, see all kinds of people out and about because of those Doras and Auras, like they're walking around. And there's things that don't even involve the alcohol. There's so many events they do at that little Hensville right across from the Mud Hens. Like they do little concerts and stuff there. Like that's
all kinds of
awesome.
stuff.
ProMedica Park is ProMedica has done a lot downtown, by the way. They changed that whole landscape down there, big time. So all improvements.
Yeah, Seagate Center has been remodeled.
Yeah.
There's always, there's something there almost every other weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're still working. They're doing like platforms outside of the Seagate Center.
I saw those
that are overlooking the Mud Hens.
Yeah.
And I don't know the exact details on that.
I don't either.
Somebody told me it was something to be able to view the games or something. I don't know though. I got to look into that a little bit more. But I thought it was super cool what they were just having something out there to overlook. Yeah. In that direction is nice. It's super nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a parking garage across the street from there that you can actually see into the stadium from. It's actually perfect for fireworks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they do fireworks after the games a lot.
Yeah.
So if you park in the parking garage, you park on the top floor, right?
Yeah.
And then you just leave the game, like, middle of the last inning.
Yeah.
And you just sit by your car, and you get a perfect view of the fireworks. It's great.
Oh, my goodness.
Pro tips.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, fireworks are nice downtown. They spend some money on those fireworks, man. They got some good fireworks shows. Especially when they do their own like 4th of July shows and all that.
I haven't been down there for those in a while.
Huh? Yeah, they're huge. They're huge. Like they're super nice. Inside the stadium though, I have to say it's a better experience because of the music and everything playing with it. Like it's a better feel for the fireworks and everything going on.
Show, I get it.
Yeah,
I'd rather be
nice.
away from the people.
Yeah, I get it.
That's just me, though.
I get it. I like that tip though. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice for if you didn't go to the game and you just want to see the fireworks.
Never done that before.
Yep. So things like that have changed my view on what Toledo was. Like I didn't see that before, and then I'm seeing people coming in jobs. Peloton is now making. I'm not sure if it's their headquarters or what, but they're opening up a building down here downtown, which is going to bring more people in, which I think is great. That's aside from the other things that we just talked about. There's a lot. Amazon moving their facilities here, which is cool because I get things in like a day.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's my favorite part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait till the same day. I want a drone to bring me my stuff, man.
Like, order it before 3 o'clock and have it tomorrow before 2.
Yeah, yes. All the time. Yeah, I love those. But I want it like order by noon, get it at 4. A little drone drops it off. I'm waiting for that.
That's gonna be great.
I'm waiting for it.
Dude, they got windows like in the top of the Amazon building.
Uh-huh.
And I've been wondering this. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I've been wondering if that's where the drones are going to come out.
Ooh.
We don't. We just every morning they're like,
yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. I can't wait.
One day.
Yeah, one day. It's going to happen.
It'll be cool.
Again, all improvements that have happened to the city that have changed my mindset on it and like make me appreciate it more. And especially some people who are like, oh, there's nothing to do in the city. It's like there's so much more to do in the city. But there's also this, you have to be interested in finding out, right? Because a lot of people are just like, there's nothing to do here.
Have you been to the zoo?
Yeah,
the number one zoo in the country?
Yeah.
Because that's here.
Yeah, I know.
And you can go in the winter.
Yeah.
For the lights.
Yeah.
Which are cool.
Yeah. The lights are super cool.
Yeah.
And the music with the lights in that little central area, it's
cool.
It's phenomenal. With some hot chocolate because I'm always freezing there.
For sure.
Like,
man.
The little museum of science that they opened up there is amazing. Cool. Amazing.
Dude, everything at that place is cool.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The aquarium that they did. The
aquarium's sweet.
Yeah.
Although I would say I do kind of prefer the older aquarium. They added so many cool tanks.
Yeah.
But I like the older aquarium better just because I'm kind of old school. I just
really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still in a mix and toss up between it because that middle tank took up a lot of space, but they got a lot of cool stuff in there. Yeah. So I'm torn. But the aquarium's always my favorite spot. So,
I think
next to the Museum of Science now though. So,
I think my biggest gripe, and it's a very minor gripe,
and
I'm just a weirdo, is the old aquarium you could kind of just like walk back and forth to whatever thing that you wanted to look at, and this one you have to go in a certain order. it's like they
you have to go in a
guide
circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
you have
guide
to.
you.
Yeah.
And I just like I
Don't
like
herd me.
don't hurt me.
Don't herd me.
Yeah.
You make me go this way.
I like the
They
reptile
have a dog
house.
behind
That's
you
why I like the
barking
reptile
go.
house,
Yeah.
bro. Because
the
reptile house is you could just go
pick a direction.
I want to go see the king cobra first
Yeah.
because I like the king cobra, and that
Yeah.
king cobra's been there my whole life basically.
Yeah.
So I go see the king cobra.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing, and that's
Yeah.
the very first place I go. But
Yeah.
it's like in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not forced.
Right.
You're not forced.
I want to see the glowy-eyed fish that
Yeah.
they have the black light on.
Yeah.
But I can't do that until almost last now.
Is it almost last? No. No. It's about midway through.
Minor gripes, bro.
Yeah,
They're
minor gripes.
They're minor.
Minor. But there's the zoo that you can do here.
There's the zoo that you can do.
You know what I and I'll tell you, and so this is kind of so there's the mud hens, there's the walleye. So entertainment wise, we have there's plenty of things going on at the Huntington Center all the time. We have plenty of local restaurants.
We have aside from New York, I think we have the most restaurants per capita, or we did at least prior to COVID.
Okay.
So we're a test market for
I didn't know that.
restaurants, especially fast food chains. We always have random items that Taco Bell and McDonald's that they try out here.
Nice.
And if they succeed, then they sometimes roll them out.
Nice. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that. That's
Fun
super
fact.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So we have plenty of things here, right? That's in-house, the things I'm talking about Toledo. But location-wise, I feel like we just sit so perfectly where if you're this weekend, I'm going to go to Chicago. You're a short drive to Chicago.
It's 3.5, 4 hours?
4
or
hours.
something?
4
Yeah.
hours. 5, 4, 5. It's 4. The time change always messes me up, and I'm always like, is it 4 hours or 5 hours?
Yeah.
But it's 4 hours driving.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Detroit.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, you're in Detroit.
Yep.
I've gone to New York, which is a 10-hour drive.
You've driven to New York?
Yeah.
That's cool. I've never been to New York. I want to go to New York.
I want to go to New York in the summer. I went for New Year's, and it was freezing, and it was still beautiful, but I was freezing the whole time. I want to go in a little warmer climate and explore more. New York is beautiful though. There's a lot of people everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people everywhere, all the time. You can't get away from it. So it's a conundrum with me. Huh?
I wouldn't love that.
That's why it's a conundrum with me, because I'm like, I just want some space.
Right.
And I can't but there's so much to see there, and that city would not be the same if there weren't the people there.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? That's a part of the experience for New York. So for that particular place, worth it. Canada is literally an hour away.
Dude, you can be in Windsor
In an hour.
In an hour.
In an hour.
Assuming that there's not a line at the border.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Toronto's 5 hours.
Yep, I've been to Toronto. Toronto's nice. It's a nice quick drive.
Toronto's the same as Chicago.
Right.
5-hour drive. And we're in a whole nother country.
And Toronto's a beautiful city.
I've never been there.
It's beautiful.
I'm going in March for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny has a concert up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'll be up there for a little bit. I'm going to explore. So and so that's just to say, outside of the things that I feel that we have to offer here, we're only a short drive to a lot of other places to visit and experience new things.
Right.
And then come right back. The cost of living in Toledo, Ohio is one of the cheapest in the country. I think we were third cheapest in the country for cost of living. And then real estate is one of the cheapest in the country as well.
Right.
So we just have a lot of things that are just make sense, and since we've been growing and things are going in a positive direction, I just have good feelings overall about the city and what it can do and the direction that we're headed.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally with you, man. When I was in high school and stuff, I was like, I'm getting out of here and I'm never coming back. I'm never coming back. This place is a garbage pile.
Yeah. What am I going to do the rest of my life here?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I had that same mentality.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I did. I explored for a little bit bigger cities, and then I was like, I'm going back to Toledo.
It's a nice place to raise a family.
It's a super nice place to
we
raise a
got good
family.
schools. We're spread. We're not all crammed in. We have really nice suburbs.
Yep.
We're what? How far away are Detroit's an international airport. So I mean, you want to go to Mexico?
Yeah.
Hour drive.
Yeah.
5-hour flight. You're in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Super simple.
It's great.
I always fly out of Detroit as opposed to flying out of Toledo.
Well, there's really not that great of flights in Toledo unless you're like flying Spirit straight to Florida, because you can get some real like I've seen tickets for like $60 out of Toledo to Florida.
I can't ever get. I got them through Detroit. They ended up being cheaper.
What?
Yeah, and I flew from Detroit to Florida. It cost me $45. Yeah, $45. $45. I was like, yep, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, it was.
Couldn't call nobody.
Huh?
Couldn't call nobody. Tell them about that deal you found.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
You can find them all the time, bro. Get on there. Get on there. Just get on the website. Just look it up. It's me randomly looking at flights. Like, man,
I'm going to Florida.
Yeah, I was like, oh, $45. I can go to Florida for a weekend. Like, just come right back.
I got
like,
$45 in my change jar.
Yeah. Definitely taking advantage of that. So flights are actually really they're still pretty cheap right now. Now's the time to buy the tickets.
Probably getting cheaper. Because of the
yeah, more stuff going on, and that's the worry, because I'd like to plan out some trips for the future, but you just don't know.
If you this is not a plug,
okay,
but Delta, if you fly Delta, you can, as
This
long as
is
you don't
not a
like
plug.
cancel the day before. It's not a plug, because I don't care who you fly with. I don't care who you fly with. Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
If you can't cancel,
Okay.
but typically you can get flight credits.
Okay.
So if something happens and you can't go somewhere because of an outbreak, or you don't feel comfortable or whatever, you can, because we've done that.
Okay.
I've done that twice in the past year. I was supposed to go to Hawaii, and then Hawaii basically did like a COVID passport or something.
Yep.
And I was just nervous that I was going to like test positive or something when I got there, and then I got to quarantine for a week when I get there, and it just wasn't worth it.
Yep.
So we just got flight credits.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Yeah. And I just literally, it was easy.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah. So
But
not
Delta's
bad,
a little more expensive than Spirit. Anyways.
It is, but it'd be worth it if you can switch it up like that. But I just have I don't know. I just don't know. Like, things are open and then things are closing down, and like so I don't feel, and that's probably why flights are so cheap right now, because everyone's in the same boat. We're like, what am I gonna go to Disney World for if it could close? You know what I mean? Like,
right. For sure.
Nobody knows. But that's out of our control. There's nothing we can do there.
Nope.
But every once in a while, like, if I can find that's why I did it on a quick thing, is like, oh, the tickets are $45 for like this next weekend. And I was like, I can go this next weekend. It's like, I'm going to go visit family and stuff, like get in the sun. Being in the sun helps out, especially in the wintertime, going somewhere warm just to, And, and that's a lot of people's gripe with this, like the people from California, like, it snows there. It's like, yo, we can get on a plane ticket and leave and come back. Like, it's not like, it's not a deal breaker for me. Like,
no. And honestly, it's kind of nice. 4 seasons are kind of nice. Like, because it's not just like always hot,
always the same,
or always cold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like, so we get a pretty good mix, and like fall and spring are probably my favorite. But.
Yeah. I feel like we've gotten we have not gotten the falls that I remember. This fall wasn't as bad. Last year went like straight to winter. Like, we skipped. There was like 2 days of fall, and then it was straight winter. This year it was a little bit longer, but I like seeing the leaves changing colors and falling, and like wearing a hoodie and being comfortable, and like that kind of weather, as opposed to like I said, the year before, I feel like we just skipped straight through.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, one of the other things that we didn't mention about all the cool things to do here are the metro parks.
Oh, yeah.
We have so many cool metro parks that like there's like 17 metro parks within like 20-minute drive of me, and Oak Openings is just expansive. Yeah. There's sand dunes, and there's so many cool things. Yep. And I love.
There's nice trails there too.
Parks.
There's nice trails and bike riding trails and stuff there too.
They have cross country skiing trails in the winter.
Oh, snap. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got all kinds of and now they have the tree houses that you can rent out.
Yes. I haven't done that yet. I haven't done that.
I want to do it.
I do too. I do too.
But it's like, I think it's like
stuff.
Backed up. I don't think you can just call them up and be like, "Hey, I'm coming this weekend." I think it's like a couple weeks out.
Yeah, well, you can get on their website. Because I asked about it before, and you can actually register and like set it all up and get yourself set up for a specific date that you can go out there.
How far are they booked out? Do you know?
No. When I looked at it, they were booked out about a month.
Oh, that's
which
not
isn't
bad.
Like horrible. No, not at all. But I haven't looked at it in a while, so I can't tell you right now what it's booked out to.
That's cool.
But it's only like a website away, and you can like check it out and see that. So. Yeah, I forgot all about the metro parks, and they're building more. They're expanding on that big time.
It's great.
Yeah. They're doing a new one on Front Street,
On
East
Front
Toledo.
Street?
East
Okay.
Toledo, over by where they built those apartments.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Right along the river there.
Huh?
Right along the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So they did a park there already, which they're connecting to another park. They're actually doing an overpass over Main Street, where that Cherry Street, Main Street Bridge is, whatever you call it, where the old sports arena used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're building an overpass there to connect the parks because they have a trail, and it's like a 3-mile trail that you can do. And then they're connecting it so for people who are running, they can run over the overpass. They're make a little bridge there and continue into the other park that they're building now. And then they're expanding it. Right now they're working on like phase 2, and they're gonna do you're gonna be able to do kayaking from there, right? They're gonna have a little station for kayaking, and they're doing like a rope and floating obstacle course where like you walk on the little floaty pads and like grab onto the rope and get across. I was
American Ninja Warrior.
yes! I was like, oh, that seems like so exciting. Like I can't wait for them to open it up. Yeah, it's a concept. I don't know. That's their game plan. That's what they're building.
Right.
But I'm excited for it. Like I want
Yeah.
to see it. I will 100%
I'll do
be on
that.
that. I'll do it 100%.
I'll fall into the water.
Yeah,
I'm not scared.
100%. Yeah, I don't mind at all. Yeah. We gotta record it. We gotta record, and we'll time it, and we'll see who can do the obstacle courses faster.
Challenge accepted.
Okay. All right. You guys heard it. That stuff's real.
Real.
So anything else that you can touch up on our market, or anything else that you wanted to talk about on here? Because I feel like we've talked on the main points that I wanted to hit on. The housing bubble. That whole market was one thing that I just really had to address, like, and talk. And I'm going to pick a lot of people's brain on that because I have, I just want to see everyone's perspective on that and reasons why. And that was one of the main things that I wanted to talk about, aside from the other things that I think Toledo's market has a lot to offer.
It does.
But anything else you wanted to touch on from your perspective that maybe I missed?
Not really, man.
No.
Not that I can think of.
Any other plugs you want to put in here before we get off? Oh, I've seen you doing those things on TikTok. I've seen you spreading some good information on there. So let's dive into that a little bit. How have you felt diving into that a little bit more? Because it's something that we've talked about, and I want to, and I'm trying to, but I got to get to the point where I got to create some content on there.
Social media has always been a challenge for me.
Okay.
It's just not my day job, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand the algorithms fully yet.
Yeah.
And but I've gotten some good views on some of the videos that I've put out, and it's a new venture.
Yeah.
So-
100%.
So I'm just trying to put some content out there that's educational to help people make informed decisions.
Love it.
I guess one other thing that I would like to talk about is maybe how to pick a good real estate agent.
Ooh.
Because I think that's one thing that a lot of people. I think the National Association of Realtors statistic is like 73% of people only talk to one realtor.
Oh.
And there's like if I'm that realtor, like
Yes. Good for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to know that not all real estate agents are created equal.
100%.
We all have a license that we're required to get and a test that we're required to get. But after that, that's it. It's like so you go take a 40-hour class at the local business college.
Yep.
You learn absolutely nothing about selling real estate. You learn a couple of the technicalities, right?
The tech that you learn
and some things not to do.
Yes. Yeah.
But they don't really teach you how to effectively help someone through a real estate transaction.
Correct.
They just don't.
Yep.
So your cousin who just got licensed last week that you want to work with because he's family might not be the best idea. I just think that it's important that people interview more than one real estate agent.
100%.
Like even when I'm that person that they meet, I encourage people that they should not work with another realtor, but that they should interview another agent. How much business do you do? How many, what market do you work with? Investors typically? Do you work with first time home? Like who do you normally work with?
Yeah.
how many homes did you sell last year?
I like it.
There's a whole slew of questions that you should be asking your realtor.
Mhm.
Also, like back before the market got crazy, I used to, on average, get all of my clients 5% off at minimum. Like I looked up the average home sale and or the average list price and the average sale price of all my deals, and it was 5% or more almost on every deal.
Nice.
So when I would talk to a person, I'd be like, "Listen, I can get you at least," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's just important. We're not all created equal, and it's important that you can have a relationship with them, because a real estate transaction is, we've been talking about it a lot today as an investment, right? But it's not an investment. It is an investment, but it's also your home.
Yes, 100%.
It's an emotional thing. It's where you're going to live, and there's a lot of money involved typically, so it's an emotionally charged thing that people do. So it's important that you have somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to, that you're comfortable sharing confidential information with, like your finances typically. That's something we have to talk to people about. I don't know, what do you think about that?
No, I love that, and I'm glad you stated that, because I think you're absolutely correct. And everyone has a preference as well, right? Because some people want someone who's going to give you all the numbers. Some people want somebody who's just there to talk to you and comfort you through the whole thing. And do you want to? How do you feel about your real estate agent? Are you like, do I have to talk to my agent today to do whatever? Or are you like, I need to talk to my agent and tell him this? And I feel that it's important to have. You should feel like your real estate agent is 100% in your corner, up at bat for you for everything. So when they're negotiating for you, you should feel that you have somebody who's trying to negotiate the best terms for you. Whether it's information, like, is your realtor knowledgeable? Is this something that he does all the time, or does he have another job and he kind of does some real estate, but like not really? So, they can go through some motions, but nothing beyond that.
Sure.
So you should feel that you're being well taken care of and heard. We're I want to say we're all busy, right? Like we have things going on. So if they miss that call, like if I miss a call from my client, it is because I am in the middle of something. When I'm paying attention to one thing, I'm paying attention to that one thing.
Sure.
But the first thing I'm going to do is call you right back, make sure everything's okay, ask what's going on, and try to help you from there. So are they being attentive to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? Are they actively looking at homes and sending you homes to look at? Do they know what kind of loan that you're working with specifically, and are they narrowing those houses? Because if you have an FHA loan and you're getting sent conventional houses that aren't taking these, like, it's a little bit of a waste of time there. Is your real estate agent talking to your lender? Like, do they know what's really going on, and is everything open? And how comfortable are you with the services that you're being provided?
Well, and I think one of the biggest problems is that people just don't know what to ask, right? They're like, oh, my cousin Jim has a real estate license. He can help me.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem is that you don't know until it's too late.
Yeah.
Right. You're midway through the transaction, and your cousin's, he's, working his job at GM, and you can't get a hold of him or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm just pulling random BS.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I think, like, the first question, if I'm interviewing real estate agents, that I'm going to ask them is, will you answer your phone at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Or
on a Saturday.
Or on a Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday.
Like, what time is football on?
Yeah. What
Saturdays? Saturdays, what time is football
What
on?
time is the football?
I don't watch football, man. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
So I would figure out what time that is and be like, will you answer the phone at this time if I call you?
That was great. No, 100% though. Like, how available are you as an agent?
Sure.
Like, how available are you? Are you a full-time agent or a part-time agent?
Right.
That'd probably be one of my first questions.
If I see a house that I like today, when's the soonest I can get in?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Things like that. But obviously those things change a little bit based on the market that we're in.
Yeah.
Right. Because 3 years ago, I could have scheduled 10 houses for us to see next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we could look at your top 3, the following Tuesday and bring your parents.
And now
it's like, if you don't get in it.
Yeah. You have to move as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that being said, I mean, sometimes we have our schedules are pretty full. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
like, hey, I want to go see this house today. Ooh, wait a second. I'm scheduled. I'm booked up today. We can go tomorrow. Or, tomorrow I'm going to be booked up. I do have these 2 times. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so if it's a case where you're like booked up way too long, one of the best things like being on the team is we have people that we can say, hey, can you go cover this for me so that we don't want you to miss out on a house because, hey, I was busy. I'm showing other
Sure.
houses. Like, no, we have people that cover for us. So that's like a bonus of working with somebody on a team like this. I think that we can still get you in there. But then there's also some houses where like, hey, this house has been on the market 80 days. We do not have to run there today or tomorrow.
Right.
I am available the day after. Let's go take a look. And, I still, so if I'm doing that appointment for 2 days out, I'll reach out to the agent and be like,
Make
hey,
sure.
yeah, is there any activity? Are there any offers in? Is there any reason I have to rush? And so that's something to keep in mind is your agent being is communicating with that other agent and making sure that like, hey, I set the appointment for, 2-3 days from now, but I didn't even check up on it, and now it's under contract because I had no communication with the other
Right.
agent.
Yep.
So that's something crucial to know as well. But some people are putting too much emphasis on the rush, where it's like, hey, I need to see this house and I need to see it today, and it's like, hey, that's I'm scheduled out today. I can't go in there tomorrow. And so there has to be some kind of understanding that we're also,
sure. We're humans.
We're humans, and
we have lives and
exactly,
and hobbies and
personal stuff going on
and
in
other
our lives.
clients.
Yeah. Like there's always like I'm trying to get as much value out of my day, so I'm trying to book as much stuff and do as much as possible to help my clients as well. But if I don't have anything lined up, then maybe I have a personal thing lined up. And I have to adhere to that personal thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then right afterwards, if I'm free, let's go. Like I'm trying to get my clients in as fast as possible, but there has to be this understanding that, they're not the only client.
Right.
Well, maybe they are at the time, but like,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Most of the times we're working with multiple people and we're trying to help everybody out at the same time. So it's not us just blowing you off and saying, hey, no, I can't do that today. It's like, I apologize. I'll get you in there as fast as possible.
Right.
And then another one that that I'll just touch base on right now, just because of the market that we're in right now, is a lot of people aren't understanding the importance of the pre-approval right now. And this is the perfect time to just touch on that. Is without that pre-approval, right? And if I don't know you and like you just called me up, hey, you want to see this house? I will more than likely go show you that house, but I'm going to ask you that question there. Do you have a pre-approval? Because it's going to be a complete and total waste of time if there's no pre-approval. Because let's say you love this house that we're looking at right now and you really want to move forward with it. There's no way that we can move forward with it. Like, they are not accepting offers right now if there's no pre-approval attached.
Oh, no.
They're not even considering
They're not
it.
even looking at
They're
them.
not at all. They're like it just goes to the side. They need that pre-approval. So, like, I'll tell somebody that. Like, do you have a pre-approval? It's very important.
It's like going to the grocery store with an IOU.
Yeah.
Nobody's. They're not going to be like, okay, yeah, come back later.
Yeah. No. They're going to
You-
take the cash. They're going to take whatever form of payment they can first. And sorry if you're too late.
Right.
So it's something that I've been trying to emphasize in the nicest way as possible. Is like, hey, we need the pre-approval to move forward. And but I want to go see this house. Okay, let's go see this house. Like that's okay. But I'll still emphasize, and I'll only show them the one house because even that one could be the one that it's the house of their dreams, and they're going to lose out on it because they're not listening to me on the pre-approval part. And it's so like it's a toss-up between I don't want to push somebody off. Like I don't want them to think that like, hey, I don't want to work. You know what I mean? Because they don't understand how important the pre-approval is.
Right.
And I understand that they don't know how important it is. So I'll go see that house with them, but I will have that serious conversation. And if they're not willing to get that pre-approval, there's not much that I can do to help them. Like,
Here's the issue with the whole thing, right? It's like looking at houses is the fun part.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that it's just a misunderstanding because everybody thinks that, well, I got to find a house, right? And then I go get the money, right? But that's just backwards thinking, and people just don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
And back 3-5 years ago, you could go look at a house and then get a pre-approval letter later because the house is still going to be on the market.
Yeah.
But it's just not like that anymore. So you have to, you got to get your ducks in a row. You
Mhm.
can't just skip straight to the fun part.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, that's exactly what it is too.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this nice house. I want to go see it right now.
Right.
That's great, and I get that, and I especially get that emotional feeling. But let's say that is the perfect house for you. Then what?
I mean, and in all reality, like getting your pre-approval letter is almost before getting a realtor. I mean, technically, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, if I don't know what kind of loan you have, I cannot work on your behalf because I don't know what kind of house you can buy. I don't know what price range you can buy in, and if you have an FHA loan, you can't buy a fixer-upper.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if there's chipped and peeling paint or no handrails or a slew of other items that are wrong with the house, you cannot buy that house with that loan unless you get a 203K loan, which is something that your lender will talk to you about.
Yeah. So there are options.
Right.
What is that option? Then the lender can tell you all about this, but without having that information, you're right. We can't make the right moves.
But a good realtor knows good lenders that can navigate you through that process.
100%.
So maybe a realtor is the first step. But
Yep.
either way, before you actually start looking at homes, pre-approval is really the number one step. You have to understand your budget. You have to understand your monthly payment, and you have to understand what kind of house you can buy before you should go look at them.
100%. And I think that's why I think most of the times when people are thinking of the home buying process, their first thought is realtor, not lender.
Right.
Even though you're right, the pre-approval should technically come first. I think their first thought is realtor, which is fine because then it's our job as a realtor to inform you that you really need to talk to a lender. If you don't have a lender, again, we're in connections with some great lenders. I can give you options. Like, there's not a problem there. And you want someone who can help you best in your particular situation. So you want somebody who can give you options. And that's where we should come in right away and say, hey, let's talk to a lender. Let's get all your information. That way we can make a better decision about, A, what houses we're going to see because we don't know what kind of loan you're going to get approved for and how we're going to proceed forward from there,
Right.
Yeah, no, that was good. All right, so now I think we've talked about everything.
I got one more thing.
What's that?
I really don't.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if I have anything else.
No, that was it. That was really good stuff. I'll plug in your stuff. You're done. You're checked out.
Mic throw.
Mic throw. You can't drop it here.
No,
You got to
I mean,
unplug
I
it.
could. I'll pull this shit out the wall. I wouldn't do that to your mic.
We'll plug in your social medias
Okay.
in the description here. And, if anyone wants to reach out, ask any questions at any time, we'll plug in all the information for that. But I appreciate you being on the show, and I appreciate your time, buddy.
Dude, I appreciate you having me on the first one.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Number one.
Yeah.
Me gusta. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.